And thank you guys so much for joining me on my radio podcast. This is Deborah the Judge Radio Podcast, all the way from Putnam County, Florida. Yes, Putnam County, Florida, in the northern central section of Florida. So I just want to take this time out to thank you for joining me each and every day, or almost each and every day, on this particular podcast. As you guys know, or for those who have not been following me, that I came from Georgia and I'm retired, and now I live in Florida and purchased a demolished trailer over by the lake. And so I'm rehabbing my trailer. So today was a pretty good day. I got up pretty early and started doing some painting on the inside of one of the laundry area. And so I might have some paint and stuff on me, but at the end of the day, I'm not ready to freshen up yet because I've got to go to the bank and handle business. This is the first of the month. So when you're on a fixed income, like a lot of seniors are, this is the time where you take care of your bills, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, I wanted to come on and talk about three things. I wanted to give you an update on what's going on in Israel, um, a little political stuff with Trump, and also an update on this Cassie P. Diddy thing. So let's just get right to it, shall we? So as you guys learned that the Hamas Israel truce was over this morning, okay? So because Israel has a different time zone than we do, that's why we're able to get their Friday morning news late on Thursday night. Okay, and so I watched a lot of the Israeli channels, etc., on that side of the world to get early news. So that's why a lot of times when I put news out, it hasn't been put out yet in our regular media yet. But anyway, so the truce was over this morning. Okay, but at the end of the day, both sides are saying that each side broke the truce. Now, on yesterday, there were terrorists that was in Israel, and they killed people at the bus stop. So Israel Jewish were at the bus stop, and the terrorists, Hamas terrorists, came and shot up the bus stop, and they happened to kill four people, and they injured five. So these terrorists, Hamas, in Jerusalem, killed four people and injured five. But as I looked closer, I did realize that it wasn't actually four people that was killed by Hamas. It was actually three. One of the persons that was killed was actually a Jewish citizen who was there at the bus stop. And so when the terrorists came to and started shooting, he pulled his damn gun out and he started shooting at them. But the military that was in the area was running over there to see what was going on. They found that people were shooting. So they thought that the Jewish person who had his gun was a terrorist and they shot and killed him. So they shot and killed one of their own. So actually, it was Hamas or terrorists that injured five and killed three. And one was killed by the Israeli military. And these were all Jewish people that were killed. Now, in the meantime, there are 137 hostages that were released by the Palestinians. I'm not 137 released. There are 137 left that have not been released. And there were 105 that have been released of Jewish people and other people that was at that particular uh, function that they had, the concert. And then there were exactly 240 Palestinians that were released. So they released 240 Palestinians that were released around the West Gaza. That was that was that was at the West Gaza being detained. So they own now, honey. It's back. The war has already restarted, basically. And I think on this particular occasion, I think that the military is going to really go in full force to really decimate anything that they think is left. Now, Biden has warned that they don't want them to fire upon any uh, civilians that are in South um, Palestine, in the South Gaza area, because these people are retreating and going south. The problem is that Egypt and doesn't really want to let all these refugees in there. That's the problem. So a lot of these people are going to be stuck at the border trying to leave. So Biden and some of the other uh, United Front countries are saying we don't want you to kill the uh, the people that are trying to leave. But you know, and I know that Hamas is going to be mixed up in all of these people. But they're saying that the rest of the hostages are still in the northern section. They said the rest of the hostages are still in the northern section of Gaza, which I'm pretty sure is their primary focus. But here we go again. And United States has just released some more money to Israel and Ukraine. Okay, we can't forget about Ukraine. But at the end of the day, I always say it's not what they show you, it's not what we see, but it's really what they don't tell us and what we don't see. Those are the things. And I still, somewhere in my mind, I got this thing where this Ukraine, not Ukraine, but this Iranian thing is a much bigger fish than what's going on in Israel. As far as the United States is concerned, I believe that there's more things that are getting ready to happen because, as I reported on yesterday, that Iran now is working with African countries. And basically, the only thing that that's meaning is that they're trying to get themselves together so that they will not have to use the American dollar. So it all ties itself around in some sort of way. And if they can crush America by crushing the American dollar, then they can make America, you know, a non-powerful country. And so Africa is involved with all of this kind of stuff. But my thing is this, is that if America keeps supporting people that don't support them, they need to stop withdrawing all this money that they're giving to all these other people. So you guys know I am a reparation queen. Yes, reparation queen, and we still want our damn reparation money. I don't give a shit what's going on in other parts of the world. I just believe that we're way overdue. Now, the only place that have paid reparations so far is in Illinois. It's a town called Evanston, Illinois, which is close to Chicago. So they're paying reparations. They got a bill that they made. It's a bill, like a law type bill, that they're paying land and stuff to the descendants of slaves. And so if one city can do it, then I think every city that has descendants of slaves, African American descendants of slaves, should be able to do the same damn thing. And even though I was saying that when it comes to the government, that the government that's over all of everything, the Supreme Justice, etc., should do a blanket reparations for the country, but they're not going to do it. Just like they withdrew Ray v. versus Wade and left that decision up to each state. So I think with reparations, they'll probably end up going to do the same damn thing when it comes to that. But now we're also looking at these cities who are also right now getting ready to go through the same thing to see about how they're going to pass out reparations. And the cities are St. Louis, Missouri, Providence, Rhode Island, St. Paul, Minnesota, Asheville, North Carolina, Boston, Massachusetts, Tallahassee, Oklahoma, and Berkeley, California. Okay, so these are the cities now that are moving forward with trying to get reparations into a bill so that those people could get paid. Because even as of today, we know that there were some slaves that were given land, but nobody ever got their mule. They got some 40 acres, but they never got their mule. But the estimate that they're giving is the fact that there were over 2.2 million freemen who were supposed to be getting money that they never got. And in today's economy time, it would be worth $370 billion if they were to keep their promise to the African American descendants of slaves. It would be over $370 billion. Then by the time Ukraine war is over with, and by the time Israel is over with, that money that they spent will be money that they could have easily paid, easily paid the American descendants of slaves. In fact, Elon Musk, you could pay 370 billion and pay everybody off if you wanted to. Because I wonder who. I think Elon is the richest person in the world at this point. Uh, I looked it up, and it was an African oil and concrete magnate, a black guy, but I'm not sure if he's still on the number one list. But anyway, I digress. So let's move on. So let's talk about Trump. We got some really, really interesting news with Donald J. Trump. About time. Because, see, I don't watch news about Trump every day because I know it's a distraction. But this is some very interesting news, good news as far as I'm concerned. So Fani Willis, who is the attorney who was suing, bringing Trump to trial because of the, she said, falsification of his properties. So he was overestimating the size of his properties, and so she was bringing him, excuse me, to justice. And the judge who was involved in the case, a little silly judge, who looked like, I don't know what he looked like. He looked like a little bozo. But anyway, so the judge there was also a huge part in agreeing with Fani about these charges. But how about, this is when I say shit hits the fan and it's nothing but a distraction. How about now that it's coming out that this particular allegations that they were saying about Trump is invalid? It's invalid. And the reason being is that Fani and Bozo Judge was looking at what they call residential appraisal for all his properties. Residential appraisal. And so when they looked at that and what he said was the actual appraisal, they thought they called him in a lie. The problem is that they was looking at residential appraisal and not commercial appraisal. And the way that residential appraisals and commercial appraisals are done are totally different. In other words, if you have residential, if you got a home and they're doing an appraisal of your property, they're actually paying you for the amount that it's worth that particular day at that particular time, according to the market. Now, the commercial, what we call appraisal, is done completely different. If they were to look at a commercial piece of property, let's say your business property, how they would assess it is that they would look at, for instance, you own an apartment building. They would look at it as not just the amount of money that the apartment building is worth, but also the amount of money that those apartments inside the apartment building would generate. So they're looking at two different things, not just the one thing of what it's actually worth, but they're looking at the future earnings of when you put people in these properties, how much you're going to make. So that's the difference. And somebody with their bright ideas evidently didn't look up what the real estate laws were to find out what real commercial assessment was. So now Trump is going back and now suing Fani Willis. And how Trump was able to be able to move forward past this BS is the bank, the Deutsche Bank came out and said that we appraise his commercial property at this amount of money. And this is what it was appraised as. We don't appraise it as a residential property because it's a commercial property. And on basis on that, we loaned him the money. And in return, after using the money or whatever he did, he paid it back to the banks. So there was a win-win situation for both sides. So now he's going to sue Fani Willis. So she is going to be in deep trouble, depending on like the laws and stuff like that, because we don't know by her being a an attorney for the state. We got to really look to see what boundaries or what laws are in place to protect her. But he's suing her. Believe me on that. Okay, so push that out the way. So now, basically, once that's tied up, then they go to the next thing, okay, which is the classified documents. Okay, they got to try to figure out how they're going to get them on that. But at the end of the day, you got to be wondering, I don't care who you are, is that this man has been able to continue to move forward without falling. He's been able to move forward without falling, and there's nothing that they can do with Donald J. Trump because the information has come out that Fani Willis and that judge wrongly charged him. They charged him an appraisal on residential property and not commercial property. But anyway, let me go on to the next thing. So let's talk about this Cassie P. Diddy update shit, okay? So now there's more people that are being pulled into P. Diddy's mess. Okay, so P. Diddy has taken pictures with T.D. Jakes. So T.D. Jakes attended one of P. Diddy's parties. Now, I seen the picture and him talking on video at P. Diddy's party. Now, I didn't see Mrs. Jakes anywhere. Okay, so I wonder was she there? Probably not, okay? Because we know P. Diddy parties. But at the end of the day, T.D. Jakes was at that party with P. Diddy. And somebody that knew P. Diddy had talked to T.D. Jakes about P. Diddy, about an issue that was going on. I think his name was Mays. But anyway, he was going through a situation with P. Diddy, and he wanted P. Diddy to pay him what he owed him. So he wanted the Bishop Jakes to uh, talk with P. Diddy, and they come into council together to see how they was going to resolve this issue. But T.D. Jakes said he ain't had nothing to do with that shit. He said, I ain't finna get into that bullshit. Hey, I got my money. I'm worth 20 million. So I ain't. So it's going to be some interesting things that fall out of that with T.D. Jakes even. But of course, whoever is attending his church, they're not going to believe any of that. They're going to surround themselves around T.D. Jakes. Period. Regardless, even if you guys think that he's a part of the Illuminati, that he's a part of a failed black um, church representative or whatever it is that you think about him, the people that's giving him that money every Sunday, they're going to continue to do that. So you can just forget that at the end of the day. We rise, but we fall. The Bible says, touch not my anointed. So I'm really wondering who in the pulpit is really anointed. Who's really anointed? Now, the last thing I want to talk about is Fonzworth Bentley. Okay, y'all know Fonzworth. Fonzworth is the one that had the umbrella and shit. You know, the guy that carries the umbrella that holds over P. Diddy. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought he was in an Outcast video where he had the umbrella. So the black guy, tall guy, whatever, decent looking guy, always holds the umbrella for P. Diddy when he's walking. In fact, that is on my cover video. I took the picture off the website, and you'll see it. But they're saying now that Fonzworth was like P. Diddy's concubine, allegedly. P. Diddy's concubine. I'm telling you, P. Diddy, where is 50 Cent when you need him? That's all I got to say. And I'm getting ready to get out of here, but I just wanted to say something um, about commenting on social media. So there was a statement or a video, not a video, but a somebody made a post about Cassie and how she was a victim and blah, 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 this and blah, 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 that. And I know a lot of females are going to get mad, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say about the situation, because you have to understand that the way Hollywood do business and the way that business is done in the real world is not quite the same. It's like different rules and shit apply when you in Hollywood, and there's so much shit that goes on. So when I made the statement that on this particular post, I made a statement. I said, well, did he put a gun to her head to make her stay in it? So of course, the liberals, the Karens, everybody's jumping at me. And I'm just laughing to myself because you know me, sometimes I'll say some adversity stuff, but I think differently. And when you've had different experiences and you've been in the street, then you have a different thought process. As I told you on yesterday, that a 14-year-old that lives in the street and the street life is not the same as a 14-year-old who's a schoolgirl going to school and got a parent helping her. Those are two differently 14-year-olds. It's totally different. And the same thing with Hollywood. And as I said before with Cassie, Cassie was in the business since she was 14 years old. So by the time she met P. Diddy, she wasn't no virgin, nothing like that. She had been around for a minute. But when I said did he hold a gun to her head, what I meant was the fact that he did not kidnap her. He didn't put her in handcuffs. So she had an opportunity at some point to leave. But instead of putting a gun to her head, what he did was something that was almost just as bad, that kept her in line. And that is, he had pictures and probably video and all of these different things that revealed some disgusting and nasty acts and behaviors that he had on Cassie. And as a woman, she did not want that information to surface. So she stayed in that shit because she was trying to figure out a way, how in the hell am I going to get out of this shit? Because you got all this shit against me. And for those who do know about Hollywood, it has always been said that when you join the elitist people in Hollywood, or when you're a part of Illuminati and you join these secret societies, they have you do these sexual acts and they video film it and they keep it so that when you get out of line, they can pull this shit out on you. And usually with men, it's usually a sexual act. Either a young or either a man is having fellatio, oral sex on doing another man, or either he's getting it in the behind. And they film that shit for real. And so when you step out of line, then they'll put your stuff out and discredit you and disgrace you and your family and your children and your friends and everything against you. So this is why when you look at these elites and stuff, when things are going on right now, they don't want to have shit to say about it. And this also comes, with sports players, actors, and actresses and stuff as that. Because even NBA is like Hollywood. It's like a game that's being played. Oh, I'm sweating, so it's time for me to get out of here because I got to go and pay some bills. But I just want to say that I explained on my post, I said, no, he had something more detrimental. And it wasn't the fact that he was holding her hostage or he was kidnapping her. He had some information. Now, the information coming out allegedly is somebody on social media was saying that she would be at incidents or parties, closed door parties, and they saw her, or she was seen on all fours. So she was on her knees and had a dog collar on her neck and was going around from man to man. Now this is allegedly, but when people say they see shit and stuff like that, and they come out and they say stuff, with this whole situation, everything that's been coming out so far has not been a lie. It has been proven at some point. But of course, I'm saying allegedly. So when you got stuff like that, if it's not true, which I believe is true, then you got to question yourself: am I gonna leave, or am I gonna be so humiliated that I'll never be able to show my face in Hollywood again? So yeah, you can get mad at me. I don't care nothing about that. Because like I said, at the end of the day, she could have left, but he had something that she felt was more powerful than her leaving, and she was waiting for the opportune time to leave, because her personal trainer now is the one who basically was talking to her and said, "Hey, you got to get up out of here. You got to go." So he was the one that's supposed to have helped her to figure out a way to leave. They're trying to say he rescued her. He didn't rescue her. She wanted to leave. She just didn't know exactly how she was going to go about it. And by him being a bodyguard and maybe having some sympathy for him, for her, decided that he had seen enough and he was willing to take the chance. So he was actually the hero in all of this. And some of that $40 million, Cassie, that you got, or 50, 70, 80, 90, 100, whatever, you need to make sure that trainer or bodyguard that did that for you, you need to throw him some cash. But will you do it? We're going to see. But you should. And 50 Cent, don't forget. Now you got another movie with the security, the trainer, because I can imagine he's built very good. So talk to him too and see if there's a spinoff of Surviving P. Diddy. Anyway, you guys take care. None of this is a laughing matter, but sometimes, you just got to laugh at shit so you won't cry. So you guys have a great day. And I am going to get up and go back in the house. I've already drunk my little coffee and shit. I got out this morning to see the cranes and stuff. They was out doing their thing. There's one thing I don't like about being down here in this particular trailer is these little small geckos, like little bitty lizards and shit. These motherfuckers, I can't stand them. But every now and then they come popping out and shit. You know, it's like they out trying to get some good weather too. But anyway, you guys, we will talk later. Be blessed.